Welcome to the Cheating Wife Stories channel. She kisses me automatically, like a motion that means nothing. Her lips brush mine in the doorway. Half a second, maybe less. A perfunctory act, like punching a time card. My temples throb. I hear my heartbeat in my ears. Fast, uneven, a frantic tapping that won't quit. I'm dizzy with the question, why is she kissing me like that? Why does this feel different? Why do I feel so disposable? My name is Ethan Mercer, and I'm watching my wife, Rachel, pull away from me with a faint smile that doesn't reach her eyes. She doesn't see the panic behind mine. The world's spinning faster than it did yesterday or even this morning. The back of my neck prickles with sweat. She tilts her head, says something about meeting a friend for coffee, and I nod as though my brain is still functioning. But in truth, everything's short bursts inside me. Images, sounds, memories. I can't pin them down. The door shuts behind her. I stand there, blinking, and realize my hand is clenched around my phone. I don't even remember picking it up. The lock screen glows, waiting. She left her phone on the kitchen counter, turned face up, unlocked. The old Rachel, my Rachel, would never do that. She was always so careful, so private. Now it's as if she wants me to see. Or maybe she doesn't care anymore. I tell myself to breathe. The living room is still, the hush like a held breath in the aftermath of her departure. I step toward the kitchen, the panic in my chest, receding to a dull hammering as I approach her phone. My eyes flick to the digital clock on the stove. 9:07 a.m., she'll be gone for at least an hour. Then, unexpectedly, my phone buzzes. A notification. Shared album update. Tuscany. May. We never went to Tuscany. My feet move on their own, carrying me to the table, where I see her phone resting near a half-eaten piece of toast. I swallow. My mouth tastes bitter. She must have cinched her cloud with mine at some point. It's not random. It can't be. With trembling fingers, I open the album. The first thing I notice, that red dress. She told me she'd donated it months ago, said it didn't fit anymore. She stands in the sun, hair swirling around her shoulders. She's laughing, eyes sparkling in a way I haven't seen in a long time. A warm light illuminates a cobblestone street behind her. And he is there, pressing his hand against the small of her back, leaning in. The photo is shot from a low angle, almost cinematic. I glimpse his face, a handsome, angular jaw, dark hair, tanned skin. A memory slams into me. Rachel talking about some event coordinator she met. She said the job was just a favor from a friend of a friend. She never mentioned an overseas trip. She never mentioned him again, not by name. The phone wobbles in my hand. I see the next photo, an intimate dance. She's mid-dip, legs wrapped around his waist, her arms around his neck. They look lost in each other. Another shot. They're on a balcony at sunset. She's leaning against the rail, that red dress hugging her figure, and he's behind her, one arm draped across her waist, lips near her ear. It's so blatantly sensual I feel a flash of heat behind my eyes, a burn that cascades down my spine. Then it hits me, a wave of adrenaline so strong that I have to lean on the counter to keep from falling. It's not just that she went to Tuscany with another man. She's letting me see it now. Because no one leaves their phone unlocked like that by accident. So either she wants to torture me, or she's grown too indifferent to care. I can't recall how long I stand there, trying to steady my breath. My entire chest is tight, like someone's grabbed my heart in a vice. Anger. Betrayal. But overshadowing both is a sense of profound emptiness. The worst blow is not just that she's cheated. It's that she's been happy, truly happy in those photos. Happier than I've made her in years. That's a deeper kind of agony, knowing my own failings. I decide something in that moment. I don't decide to confront her or to shout. No, the moment I saw that album, I realized I wasn't the same man who used to cower or try to fix things with a gentle word. There's a new power kindling in my chest, A cold, methodical rage. My pulse starts to slow. The next time it beats, I feel strangely calm. I set her phone back exactly as she left it, and walk to my office. The day is just beginning. When she returns, I'm seated at my desk, typing an email to a client. She peeks in. "Hey," she says, subdued. "I brought you a coffee." I glance up. My eyes linger on her lips. "Thanks," I answer, forcing a small, polite smile. "I appreciate it." She crosses the room, sets the cup down. For a split second, our eyes lock. There's a flicker in hers, uncertainty, guilt, fear. I can't be sure. She hesitates, fidgeting with her bracelet. "You okay?" she asks, voice quiet. I answer with a single nod. Busy day. She stands there, maybe waiting for me to ask about her outing. I don't. Eventually, she leaves. I notice her phone is now gone from the kitchen table. The living room feels heavier, every piece of furniture a witness to the half-truths and omissions that have come to define us. Rachel and I have been married 8 years. We used to talk about building a future, raising children. We do have a baby now. Or rather, there is a baby in the house. Lily. She's 10 months old, just starting to wobble around, cruising along the sofa edges. My chest tightens when I think of her. Because last week, I saw the results of a paternity test I'd taken in secret. The black and white text told me, 0% chance Lily shares my DNA. I close my laptop, press my palms against the desk, and breathe out. I remember the day Rachel told me she was pregnant. My reaction was pure joy. I joked that my side of the family breathed strong, that our child would have my father's bright hazel eyes. I spent months fantasizing about fatherhood, and now, the truth, she's not mine. Possibly she's his. Daniel Hawthorne, the man from those photos, or someone else, but I suspect it's him. The swirling darkness in my mind threatens to erupt, but I keep it under control with a fierce grip on my composure. These flashes of memory feel like hammer strikes. Rachel's changed behavior, her secrecy, her endless projects that took her out of town. She'd come back wearing perfume I didn't buy for her. She once said, "I need adventure in my life." I told her I understood, but I never asked who was giving it to her. Now I know. And it's not just that she cheated. She built a life on the lie that Lily was mine. I stand up and walk to the hallway mirror. I catch a glimpse of myself. Hair slightly graying at the temples, a stoic face that used to be warm. A man wearing a mask of civility while a storm rages inside him. I wonder what Daniel has that I don't. Younger. Maybe. More spontaneous. Quite possibly. Rachel always complained I was too serious, always thinking about budgets, investments, the future. She'd say, "Ethan, you have to live a little," and I'd respond with something about responsibility. Now I see the result. My temples pound again, but I force the storm back. I pick up Lily from her playpen. She doesn't know the truth. She babbles, pressing her tiny hands to my face. The unfairness of it all slams into me, but I hold her gently, letting her nestle her head in the crook of my neck. My eyes sting. She's not mine. But in that moment, she's all I have, this stolen love. Rachel emerges from the bedroom, sees me holding Lily, and offers a small smile. "She missed you." Her voice wavers, or maybe I imagine it. I say nothing. Just nod. The tension in the house could shatter glass. I sense that she wants to say more, to check if I've discovered anything. I remain polite, keep my tone measured. She eventually recedes, like a tide that knows it's no match for the shore. A few days later, I do what any man in my position might do. I look for proof, real proof, beyond the phone album, beyond the photos, because I need to know if she'll admit it to my face. In the evening, after Lily's asleep, Rachel sits on the couch flipping through a magazine. I stand near the windows, the city lights below, reflecting in the glass. She hears me breathing heavily, finally looks up. "Something on your mind?" she asks, brow furrowing. I turn. I was thinking about our finances, I lie. Wanted to double-check some details. Maybe we should talk. She sets the magazine aside. Sure. I wander over, sit beside her, close enough to feel the warmth of her skin. She stiffens. I watch her face carefully. We need to update the beneficiary information on our accounts. I say, you know, for Lily. It's important. Her expression flickers. Just a second. Yes, she says, too quickly, of course. How about the life insurance policy? My voice remains calm, though my heart races. You'd want Lily to be a primary beneficiary. A slight tremor in her voice. Yes. That makes sense, doesn't it? She tries to sound casual. Her eyes dart to mine. In them, I see a guarded fear. She must be recalling that for Lily to be the beneficiary, she'd have to be recognized as my daughter in official paperwork. Another lie set in stone. I lean back, swirling the leftover whiskey in my glass. Yes, I say softly, it does. I let the silence stretch. The tension sizzles between us. She's waiting for me to say more, to accuse her. I don't. I keep my face impassive. Show her no weakness, no anger. Finally, she clears her throat and says she's tired. She retreats to the bedroom without kissing me goodnight. I watch her go. My hands tighten into fists. I think about Daniel, about her on that Tuscan balcony, the red dress. My mind conjures the image of them together, bodies pressed close. A spike of pain shoots through me, sharp as a flash. But I can't show it, not yet. The next morning, I set my plan into motion. I give her tasks, keep her occupied. Honey, can you call the lawyer about finalizing the will? Maybe schedule an appointment with a therapist for us. I've been feeling some stress. We should talk it out. She leaps at the suggestion of therapy, probably relieved that I want to work on us. I see a flash of hope in her eyes, maybe even gratitude. She doesn't know it's all a distraction, giving me time to prepare the paperwork, shift funds, consult with my own lawyer about property division, hidden accounts. I spend hours each night quietly dismantling our shared life, rewriting beneficiaries, contacting old colleagues who know the intricacies of corporate finance. My older brother, whom I once trusted, betrayed me too. He was the one who first suggested Rachel wasn't as faithful as I believed. Then he vanished from my life. When I learned the baby might be his, or at least that he was covering for her, I added him to my mental list, the list of people to sever from my heart. At first, my chest burned with rage. Now it's iced over, sharpened to a single lethal point. I will not broadcast my pain. I will not give them the satisfaction. Rachel floats around the house, trying to fix small cracks in our marriage, and I let her. She calls a therapist, shows me appointment times, begs me to open up. I nod, feign acceptance. Meanwhile, I plan my exit with the precision of a surgeon. But behind all that, a piece of me breaks when I hold Lily. Every fatherly instinct I've cultivated for a year fights with the cold knowledge she isn't mine. Sometimes Lily giggles, eyes bright, and I see a slight resemblance to Daniel's photos. My stomach churns. At night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. The strangest thought crosses my mind. The worst part isn't that Rachel broke my trust. It's that she's so indifferent to who she hurts. She's playing house, knowing the foundations are rotten. That more than lust or betrayal tears at my soul. Weeks pass. We attend a therapy session. The counselor, a mild-looking woman in her 50s, asks about communication. Rachel does most of the talking. She weeps softly, says she feels disconnected from me. He's distant, she says, voice trembling. I try to talk, but he just nods. It's like he's already gone. The therapist turns to me, voice gentle. Ethan, can you share how you feel? I consider lying, but instead, I offer a flicker of truth. I feel like a part of me died, and I'm not sure how to move forward. Rachel's tears intensify. She can't look at me. The therapist probes deeper, but I keep the details vague. not once mentioning Tuscany or the phone or Lily's paternity, because the ultimate power is letting her believe I might still be in the dark, or at least not fully certain. Let her destroy herself with the secrets she can't bear to reveal. Afterward, driving home, she sobs in the passenger seat. I stare straight ahead, replaying the photos in my mind, her pressed against Daniel, her face lit with joy. My jaw clenches. She tries to apologize. "I'm sorry about everything," she whispers. "I know I haven't been the best. I wish I could go back." Stop. My voice is surprisingly calm. "We'll figure it out." She exhales shakily. A spark of hope lights her expression. She tries to take my hand. I let her hold it for a moment, then gently slip free, pretending to shift gears. When we pull into the driveway, I see Daniel's face in my head, the memory slicing me up from the inside. But I say nothing. At home that evening, she attempts a romantic gesture. She cooks dinner: salmon, asparagus, a side of creamy risotto. Candles flicker in the dim dining room. I smell wine. She's dressed in a black sweater, form-fitting pants. She meets my eyes, tries a smile. "Thought we could just have a nice evening. Just us." For a heartbeat, I recall the simpler times. I remember how we used to laugh over dinner, how she once teased me for focusing too much on my phone, how we kissed with actual passion. Now she's here, trying to mimic that old warmth, but it feels hollow. Or maybe I'm the one who's hollow. We eat mostly in silence. She attempts small talk. "The therapist said we should try to share daily highlights. My highlight was cooking this meal for you. It's delicious," I say, polite. "The salmon is perfectly seasoned. I wonder if she learned this recipe in Italy with him." We continue in stiff conversation until Lily cries through the baby monitor. Rachel excuses herself to check on her. Left alone, I stare at the flickering candle and swirl the wine in my glass. My reflection in the dark liquid looks as haunted as I feel. I can hear her upstairs, murmuring to Lily. For a moment, I close my eyes and imagine a different scenario. Rachel and me, truly in love, Lily being my daughter in every way. The longing stabs me. The illusions fade quickly, because you can't unlearn the truth. 2 days later, I catch Rachel in a slip. She mentioned she has to leave town for an overnight business trip. My gut clenches. I know what this is. Maybe she can't stay away from Daniel. Maybe he's in town for some big culinary or hospitality event. I nod at her explanation, feigning interest. "Where to?" "Portland." She answers too fast, eyes flicking away. "Meeting a client for my social media consulting. Might stay with an old college friend." I can't help but let a smirk slip. "Sounds good." She pauses, searching my face. When I remain neutral, she forces a small laugh. "I promise I'll be back tomorrow night. Then we'll do something fun, okay?" "Sure." That's all I say. The next morning, she leaves at 7 a.m., carrying an overnight bag that's suspiciously large for a short trip. The moment the garage door closes, I gather my papers, check my bank accounts online, and confirm the final transfers. My heart pounds with grim determination. My lawyer's words echo in my head. "If she's committing adultery, especially with a child involved, you hold the cards. But you need to be meticulous." I plan meticulously. By midday, I call up a friend in real estate, letting him know I'm open to offers on the house. He's discreet, doesn't ask many questions. I set up an appointment with my attorney to finalize the dissolution plan, one that leaves her with minimal financial recourse. I'm not purely vindictive. I just refuse to be the fool any longer. The mechanical nature of these tasks calms me. It's pure geometry, angles where truth should have been. Step by step, I dismantle everything we built. That evening, while Rachel is presumably with Daniel, I settle Lily into her crib. She babbles at me, tiny fists reaching out. My chest tightens. I feel like I'm betraying her too. She's innocent in all this. Maybe she'll never know the father who gave her half her genes, but I'm not him, and I can't keep living this lie. My voice trembles as I whisper, "Good night, little one." She gurgles happily, no idea her world is about to shift. I step back, tears burning at the corners of my eyes. In the hallway, I stop by the mirror. My reflection is haggard, dark circles under my eyes. I think about what the therapist said, about forging new connections, about honesty. Then my mind leaps to Rachel with Daniel, their bodies entwined. I feel an explosion of pain, so sudden I almost drop to my knees. But I don't. I stand upright, hold my gaze in the mirror. That's all that's left. Endurance. A quiet vow forms in my head. I will not let her break me. I will outlast this. I'm dozing on the couch when I hear the front door open. I check the time. 10:21 p.m. She's earlier than expected. She sets her bag down softly, probably thinking Lily and I are asleep. I hear her footsteps approach. She flicks on a lamp, startled to see me in the living room. "Oh, you're still up," she says, clutching her coat. Her hair is tousled, face slightly flushed. She tries for a smile. "I came back earlier than planned. Client canceled." "I see." She hovers, biting her lip, glancing at me with something like guilt. Did you eat dinner?" I stare at her for a few seconds. Then, quietly, "Yes." The tension is suffocating. I sense she wants me to be curious, to ask more. When I don't, she breaks the silence. "Ethan, is everything okay?" "You look." She trails off, uncertain what word to use. Broken, haunted, vengeful. "I'm just tired," I say. "Long day." She sets her coat on the back of a chair, steps closer. "I missed you," she tries, voice trembling a bit. My mind conjures an image, her pressed against a motel bed, or his arms around her in some hotel suite. My heart seizes, but I keep my features mask-like. "I'm going to bed," I announce, rising from the couch. She steps aside, eyes flicking to my face, as if searching for some acknowledgement or confrontation. She gets neither. I brush past her, head upstairs, and close the bedroom door. I hear her exhale a shaky breath in the hallway, but she doesn't follow me. She sleeps on the couch that night. Over the next few weeks, the tension continues to build. She tries different tactics: denial, tears, angry outbursts. Sometimes she pleads with me to open up. Other times she storms around, accusing me of being emotionally neglectful. But there's no real confrontation about the affair. She's terrified to name it, and I refuse to bring it up first. There's a cold power in my silence. Meanwhile, I finalize the internal dismantling. I place a retainer for a top divorce lawyer in the city. I set up a new bank account in my name only, deposit certain funds that I can legally claim. I instruct the accountant at my firm to expedite the bonus that's owed to me. The house is quietly listed under an LLC so she won't notice. I sever ties with my brother, ignoring his calls. Let him wonder. Let him sweat. One afternoon, as Lily naps, Rachel corners me in the kitchen. Her eyes are bloodshot, hair disheveled. "Ethan," she says shakily, "I can't live like this. I'm sorry if I did something to hurt you, but you won't even talk to me." I meet her gaze. "Yes, you did something," I say, my voice mild. It's the first time I acknowledge a wrongdoing. Her face pales. She opens her mouth, then closes it. "What? What do you mean?" she ventures. I rest my hands on the counter, leaning forward. "I think you know," I say softly. My heart pounds. She stands there, eyes brimming with tears, silent. Then she blurts, "I love you," as if that might salvage everything. I stare at her, letting the words hang in the air. Once upon a time, those words could mend any fight. Now they ring hollow. Finally, I break the silence. "We'll talk soon." But not now. She wants to argue, to demand answers, but I stride out of the kitchen, leaving her trembling. I imagine her collapsing, sobbing quietly, or cursing me under her breath. It doesn't matter. My mind is fixed on the endgame. The day of reckoning comes on a Saturday, a bright, crisp morning. Lily is with a babysitter, I stand in the living room, waiting for Rachel to come down from her shower. The house is eerily quiet. The autumn sun streams through the windows, catching dust motes in the air. Rachel appears, hair damp, wearing jeans and a sweater. She looks at me with apprehension. She knows something is about to happen. My posture is rigid, shoulders squared. Inside, my pulse is steady, almost cold. "Sit," I say, gesturing to the couch. She lowers herself onto the cushions, eyes wide. I take a seat across from her, leaning forward, elbows on my knees. "You know that I know," I say calmly. No raising of voices, no theatrics. Her face goes ghostly white. "Ethan." I hold up a hand. "I saw the album. Tuscany in May. The phone you left on the table that morning. I know about Daniel Hawthorne. I know Lily isn't mine." Her eyes spill over with tears. She tries to speak, but nothing comes out. Finally, she manages. "I can explain. I didn't mean. You went to therapy with me." I continue, voice almost clinical, "while you hid the biggest betrayal of my life. And that child." My voice cracks, just for a heartbeat. "She's not my daughter." Rachel sobs openly now, hands trembling in her lap. "It was a mistake. I was lonely. You were always working. We drifted apart, and I just..." "Stop," I command, the single word echoing. She flinches. "I want to hear the truth, not excuses." She whites her face. "Yes, I cheated," she says, voice ragged. "I didn't mean for Lily to happen. I hoped she was yours. At first, I really did. But then the timeline made it clear. I'm so sorry. I love you. I never wanted to lose you." I consider the emotional weight of her words, the tears, the apology. Once, that might have brought me to my knees. Now, it feels too little, too late. My heart is already shutting down. "And Daniel?" I ask coldly. She hesitates. "He was just someone who gave me the rush I needed. But it's over. I swear. It's over." My chest tightens. I recall those photos of them dancing, her face aglow with happiness. I speak softly. "You're going to leave this house. I've consulted a lawyer. I have the right to remain here. You'll be served with papers on Monday." Her lips part, shock overshadowing her tears. "Ethan, please. We can fix this. Therapy, time, anything. I'm willing to do whatever. Just don't do this." "Lily," I interrupt, voice low. "You took from me the chance to be a real father. You lied about her paternity. You humiliated me with your affair. Now you want me to remain while you try to patch your guilt with therapy. No, we're done." She sobs, grabbing tissues, but I keep talking. Unstoppable. "You asked if I still love you." I stand, walk closer. She looks up, eyes red and swollen. "The answer is, I can't even look at you without seeing him. It's too late." She tries to stand, to embrace me, but I step back. "Don't," I say. "Pack your things. I'll arrange a place for you to stay for a few days if you have nowhere else to go. The babysitter will keep Lily until you're ready." Rachel's sobs become anguished. "Please, Ethan, I'm begging you." I say nothing. Finally, I gesture to the stairs. She staggers to her feet and heads up to the bedroom. I hear anguished cries behind the closed door. Normally, I'd rush to console her, but I remain where I am, staring at the floor. My chest feels tight, but the sense of calm dominance remains. I let her suffer. Indifference is the final dagger. It takes her a few hours to gather her things. I remain downstairs, ignoring the muffled sounds of her weeping. At one point, she tries to reason with me again, but I respond only with short sentences, refusing to engage. She begs me to let Lily stay. I inform her calmly that Lily goes with her mother. "I won't keep a child that isn't mine," I say. The words taste bitter, but my voice is unwavering. At last, I see her descend the stairs. She has 2 suitcases, a duffel bag. Her eyes are hollow, makeup streaked. She looks at me, broken. "Where do I go?" she whispers. I take a folded piece of paper from my pocket. "There's a motel about 15 minutes away. Paid for a week. That'll give you time to figure it out." I place the paper in her trembling hand. She looks at it, then lifts her gaze to me. "Do you still love me?" she asks, voice raw. I step forward, press a light kiss to her forehead, so gentle it's almost paternal. Then I brush a strand of hair away from her face. "You look tired," I say softly. Tears roll down her cheeks. She nods like she expected that answer. Lily is in her car seat by the door, fussing. Rachel goes to gather her, pressing one last desperate look my way. I open the front door, letting a cold draft swirl in. She leaves without another word, cradling Lily. I stand at the threshold, watch them go. Then I quietly close the door. The rest of the day, I wander the empty house, silent, methodical. I pack away family photos, place them in boxes in the garage. My phone buzzes with messages from my brother. He must know by now. I don't answer. Later, I sit at the kitchen table, remembering the final lines of the paternity test. I reflect on how illusions can crumble overnight. On the counter, I see a red envelope, some leftover piece of mail addressed to her. I push it aside. She'll never see it. She won't see anything again. Not in this house. I scroll through the phone one last time. The shared album labeled Tuscany, May. I see the red dress, the balcony, that near kiss captured in perfect golden light. My hand shakes, and a wave of hatred surges through me. But I grit my teeth, forcibly calm myself, and quietly delete every photo. I don't want these ghosts anymore. As evening approaches, I gather the final stack of documents my lawyer needs, slide them into a folder, and place it by the door. My heart is heavy, but there's a cold, hollow satisfaction in knowing I followed through. I parted from Rachel on my terms, with minimal drama. That's how I wanted it. Not fireworks, not gunfire. Just the slow strangulation of her illusions until she collapsed under them. Yet, I can't lie to myself. A piece of me is gutted. The Ethan I was, the man who believed in love and family, died the instant I learned Lily wasn't my child. I used to fear losing face or losing my sense of manhood. Now I realize the real nightmare is the numbness that follows betrayal, the knowledge that she was so thoroughly indifferent that she thought I wouldn't find out, or that I wouldn't care enough to do anything. I do care, though. The finality tears at me. But the rage has crystallized into something else, a quiet, lethal calm. A week later, the house is sold. The official divorce petition is filed. My lawyer mentions some intricacies about custody. I remind him that Lily is biologically not my daughter. Rachel's side tries to push for some financial support, citing emotional bonds. I hold my ground, produce the paternity test. The cold legal machinery does the rest. The last conversation I have with Rachel is through attorneys. She pleads with me not to abandon Lily, claims Lily needs a father, but I remain silent. I have nothing more to give. A few nights after the sale, I get a call from my brother. I let it go to voicemail. His voice, anxious, crackles through the speaker. "Ethan, man, I'm sorry. I never wanted any of this. You gotta believe me. Call me back, please." I deleted. No words left. The list I made in my mind, people I will no longer say love to, grows shorter because I crossed out every name. My wife, my brother, even Lily. I've turned my heart into a fortress with no open gates. I move into a corporate apartment temporarily. The new life is eerily silent. White walls, new furniture, no personal touches. A perfect canvas of emptiness. Sometimes, when the city lights glow at night, I recall Lily's face, a swirl of regret biting at my heart. Then I remember the test results, the photos, the betrayal, and I push the guilt away. Maybe I'm not a good man anymore, but I refuse to be a fool. One rainy evening, I step outside onto the apartment's tiny balcony. The city glitters below. The storm clouds overhead reflect neon lights, painting the sky a murky orange. I grip the railing, letting cold raindrops pelt my hands. For a moment, I close my eyes and picture Rachel's red dress swirling around her legs, that laughter on the Tuscan street. My jaw sets. I picture Daniel holding her, and I feel the ancient sting of jealousy. But as the thunder rumbles in the distance, the feeling morphs into something else, an acceptance that we can't control other people's choices, only how we respond to them. The sky flashes with lightning, and with it, a memory. The last therapy session. The tears in Rachel's eyes. I exhale slowly, a shaky breath. Then I realize I don't feel the crushing pain anymore. Instead, there's a stark emptiness. It's almost scarier than the agony, knowing I've gone numb. She taught me the worst lesson. Betrayal might hurt, but indifference kills the soul. I step back inside, close the balcony door behind me. The hush in the apartment is absolute. People assume the worst part of betrayal is the heartbreak, but I've discovered it's something else. It's the emptiness of seeing that the one you love doesn't value you enough to fight, or to keep her secrets locked. She just left them out, like a discarded phone on a kitchen counter, not caring who might see. That's the real wound. The weeks turn into months. Paperwork is finalized. The settlement goes through. I walk away with the bulk of our assets intact. The attorneys notify me that Rachel wants to speak, to apologize again. She calls, leaves messages. I don't answer. Occasionally, at random moments, like late at night when I pass a baby stroller on the sidewalk or see a father tossing his toddler in the air, I feel a raw ache. Lily's face swims before me. Maybe I was a father to her for those short months, in a sense. Maybe she deserved better than all these adult lies. The pain lingers, but I bury it. Because I am who I am now, a man changed by betrayal, a man who's done being the victim. I sink deeper into work. The firm is pleased with my performance, especially after I sign new contracts. My colleagues think I'm unstoppable. They praise me for my calm under pressure. They can't see the emptiness behind the professional facade, nor do they see the bitterness that fuels me. Then, one evening, I receive a text from an unknown number. I'm sorry, Ethan. Truly, Daniel. My heart stutters. I stare at the screen, reading it over and over. I imagine his tanned face, that easy grin I once glimpsed in a photo. The father of the child I thought was mine. My first instinct is to delete it, but I don't. Instead, I stare at the short line. I'm sorry. It's almost insulting in its brevity. Sorry for what? For taking my wife. For fathering her child. For letting me discover it in the cruelest way possible. The rage flickers, then dims. I'm too tired for hatred. I do nothing, let the phone screen go dark. That night, I dream of the baby, my baby that never was. In the dream, Lily reaches out for me, but a shadowy figure, maybe Daniel, steps between us. I wake in a cold sweat, my breath ragged. I realize how broken I've become, how I've locked away every ounce of tenderness. My chest feels like a hollow shell. Months pass. Rachel's presence fades into memory, though the divorce's aftershocks linger. People occasionally mention her name at social gatherings. I brush it off. My older brother tries one more time to contact me, but I ignore him. Even the anger I felt toward him has curdled into emptiness. In my new routine, I invest my time in analyzing market trends, reading financial reports, playing chess online, anything to keep my mind from drifting to the past. Late one evening, I'm in my small corporate kitchen, microwaving leftovers. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. She's sick. She needs you. Mom. My mother's number is in my contacts, so I know it's not my mother. This is someone else. Another trick. I sense it might be Rachel or someone in her circle. A wave of discomfort washes over me. Against my better judgment, I reply, "Who is this?" No answer. I spend the night restless, half convinced I'll hear a knock on the door. None comes. Maybe it's a lie. Maybe Rachel is in trouble. Maybe it's a ploy. I don't know. The next morning I decide. It doesn't matter. That world is behind me. Another half year glides by. I manage to sell the remainder of our shared belongings. Furniture, antiques, random trinkets from the house. Anything that carried a memory. I hold on to the wedding ring for a while, uncertain why. Eventually, I drop it off at a pawn shop. The final tie severed. People might expect some dramatic closure, a confrontation with Daniel, or a teary reunion with Rachel. That's not what reality gives. In real life, betrayal just becomes a scar. You stop bleeding, but the ache remains. There's no triumphant fanfare, just a slow fade out. A scab that leaves you changed, colder. I reflect on something the therapist said in one of our sessions. A marriage ends when both partners stop trying. Rachel stopped trying first. Or maybe I did, shutting down emotionally. Regardless, the end came not with gunfire, but with a single final conversation. Quiet, precise, little in its finality. Months later, I receive a letter with an unfamiliar return address. It's from Rachel's attorney, forwarding a personal note she wrote. I open it with shaky hands, scanning her messy handwriting. Ethan, I don't expect forgiveness. I hurt you in ways I can never mend. Lily is almost 2 now. She said her first full sentence last week. She pointed to your picture and asked, "Who's that?" I told her you were someone who loved her very much. I know I have no right to ask, but if you ever want to be in her life, the door is open. I'm sorry for everything. Rachel, I drop the letter on the table, a knot in my chest. A swirl of emotions hits me. Rage, sorrow, longing, disgust, regret, pity. I think of Lily, stumbling around, forming words, not knowing I once believed I was her father. I stare out the window at the overcast sky, uncertain how to process the letter. My breathing is ragged. For a moment, I want to destroy the note, burn it. Another part of me wants to weep. But in the end, I do neither. I tuck it into a drawer. For all my talk of being numb, some wounds will never truly close. Time marches on. My life becomes a series of carefully orchestrated routines. Work success, polite conversation with colleagues, quiet dinners alone, the occasional social outing where I keep everything light, impersonal. I'm that divorced man who got out. People gossip, but I give no details. Late one night, I dream again of Lily. This time, she runs to me in a sunlit park, giggling. I lift her into my arms. Rachel's in the background, watching with an expression I can't decipher. When I wake, tears slip down my cheeks. I realize I'm not as numb as I thought. Part of me still yearns for what could have been. That longing, that heartbreak, has become part of my daily existence, like a shadow that never leaves. Then, on a cold winter day, I stand in the new apartment's living room, looking through the large windows at the gray sky. My phone rests on the counter. An array of messages remain unanswered. Some from my brother, some from acquaintances who sense my isolation. A final one from Rachel, apologizing again. My reflection in the glass is stoic, older, perhaps a bit wiser. It strikes me that the worst thing about betrayal isn't the betrayal itself. It's the quiet aftermath, the lingering emptiness, and the realization that the person you once cherished is a stranger who might never have truly cared. Or maybe she did, once, but not enough to be honest. That knowledge weighs heavier than any anger or grief. I go to the counter, pick up my phone, and scroll through messages. My brother's name stands out. I open the message, read it. More apologies, more pleas. I delete it. Then Rachel's text. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I delete that too. One by one, I clear my phone of their presence, like sweeping fallen leaves from a porch. My chest feels both relieved and terrifyingly empty. I recall the day she left the house, how she asked if I still loved her, and all I could say was that she looked tired. That was the moment I realized my heart had turned to stone. In the mirror across the room, I see a man I barely recognize. Calm, cold, almost dangerous in his stoicism. The man who used to dream of fatherhood, who used to spoil his wife with little surprises, who believed in unconditional love. That man is gone. I swallow hard, letting a slow breath escape. I wonder if someday I'll find it in me to forgive, to move on, maybe even to love again. But not today. Today, I live with the aftermath of a betrayal so deep, it turned my heart into a fortress. And if there's a key, I don't know who holds it anymore. I step outside into the harsh winter wind, coat pulled tight. Snow flurries swirl under the street lamps, turning the world into a silent, monochrome painting. My breath hangs in front of me, a fleeting ghost. I think about the final steps in my plan. That moment I confronted her and calmly handed her a place to stay. The look in her eyes, desperate, pitiful, will forever be etched into my memory. I told myself it was the perfect revenge, letting her rot in the web she spun. The dryness of the final blow was more frightening than any tantrum or outburst could have been. But does it ease the pain? In the swirling snow, I realized that true revenge might not exist. There's no undoing the betrayal. There's only the knowledge that she can't hurt me anymore. Indifference is my final shield. I breathe in the cold air, close my eyes for a moment. The city hushes around me. Somewhere out there, Rachel is trying to piece her life together. Maybe Daniel is still in the picture. Maybe he's gone. I don't care. In my mind, they're just faces on a forgotten album, illusions in a dream. With a resigned sigh, I turn and walk down the street, footprints left in the slush behind me. I've lost my illusions, lost a child I loved, lost a marriage I once believed unbreakable. But I'm still here. And in a strange, twisted way, I feel stronger, forged by the emptiness. A new kind of power that's neither righteous nor gentle. Simply the power to never be fooled again. I continue forward, step after step, the snow crunching under my boots. My breath turns to mist. The streetlights flicker as if they sense my resolve. There's no turning back. There never was. All that remains is the methodical push toward an unknown future, guided by the cold certainty that I survived betrayal. Whether that's a victory or a curse, I don't yet know. The wind howls, slicing my cheeks. I pull my coat tighter, head bent. And then, in the shadows, I find a twisted comfort in the quiet. My mind drifts to all that's happened, my brother, the baby, the red dress in Tuscany. I wonder if the final name has been crossed off. If maybe now there's no one left to betray me. The calm is almost frightening, but it's the calm I chose. There's no thunderous applause in life's tragedies, no grand final. Just the steady beat of my footsteps in the snow, and the awareness that I'm still standing, still breathing, still able to shape what comes next. I never thought I'd become this man, but here I am. And when I reach the end of the block, I pause, glance back at the footprints I left behind. They're already half covered by snow. I turn away, forging a path forward into the swirling white, letting the past vanish behind me. And that for now is enough.